Hi everyone, welcome to week 11. I hope you have had a great week. I hope you're all doing well. This is a unique and important week because we are transitioning between our writing project 2, the annotated bibliography, and our writing project 3, our actual essay. So remember, these two writing projects, the annotated bibliography and the final essay, are really closely related. And so I invite you, even before we get into it, to open up this overview of both of them and kind of go through it and remind yourself, okay, what am I doing? Because a lot of times we can be in the middle and in kind of the mud and guck of an assignment, and it's really easy to lose our way and forget, okay, what is this assignment? What am I actually doing? So I invite you to go back and just kind of touch base. Make sure you know how the annotated bibliography is going to support an informational, expository, oh my goodness, expository essay, okay, that we are going to be writing next. So do that, and then let's go back and get into what we have going on this week. Okay, so remember, here we are just finishing up week 10. We've got our annotated bibliography due on Tuesday coming up. Go back in here, I'll just open this up. And make sure you go back to week 10, get me that, if you have not yet, turn in that second worksheet. Okay, so I can make sure that you are on the right track, that you're getting the right kind of sources. If you need help, let me know. Okay, we can even Zoom and look for sources together if you're struggling. So let's get into week 11, and I've got the overview there. Well, I'm going to put the overview there as soon as I'm done making it. This is the Tuesday, the final project for the annotated bibliography. Review the assignment. Make sure that you have all of the components in there, because the one thing that can really affect a grade for this type of writing, because it's quite formulaic, is if something that is required is simply not included. Okay, remember the introduction. You are required to include a little introduction that includes your research question. And then for every source, there are 4 elements required. First, you've got the MLA citation, the full citation for the source. Then you're going to write a short paragraph, maybe about 6 or 7 sentences of summary, summarizing that article and what that author has written. And remember our activities on how to write a summary. Keep the author as the main acting subject. It's going to be a whole lot of they said this, they wrote this, they explained this, she wrote this, she said this, she did that. And so they're always the actor. You will then include a quote from the source that is meaningful, that you can perhaps use in your final essay. The quote does not have to be woven into a sentence or anything. It can just be stuck there. That's absolutely fine in an annotated bibliography. And then finally, you will include that last paragraph, just about 3 to 4 sentences, that explains how you can possibly use this source in your essay, okay? And do that for each one, and you'll be good to go. So go back and look over the directions, look at the example that I share, and use that as a template, okay? Get that turned in on Tuesday, and then we're going to turn our direction to our final essay that we're going to be using those sources for. We're going to be using 5 of them. You don't have to use all 6, but at least 5 of those sources are going to go into an essay where we provide information. It's an informational essay, not an argumentative essay. So we're providing information, surprising information to our audience on a common topic. And when I say surprising, don't think that it has to be fantastic or mind-blowing. It can be simply something that you hadn't known before or you hadn't thought of before, and in your research you found something that was kind of interesting and you're presenting it to your audience. So read over this. Read over the requirements. It's going to be 1,200 words, which seems like a lot, but it's really not once you break it up into its different sections. Let's see and look over. Don't worry right now about the CARS method that I'm going to ask you to use in your introduction. We'll talk a lot more about that, but read over these directions and then move on to the next assignment. I like this assignment. I love TED Talks. And one thing that you will notice as you start learning different genres is there are differences, right? But there are also similarities. And a lot of talks, a lot of formal talks, especially TED Talks, are organized in the exact same manner that a written essay, a written academic essay would be organized. They simply use a lot more conversational language because they're, speaking instead of writing. And this is a fantastic TED Talk. It's so interesting. It's by Malcolm Gladwell, who is, this really famous author, and he looks at a common story. So like our common topic, he's looking at the story of David and Goliath, and he's looking at it a new way, and he's presenting new information on that story. And it's such a really interesting TED Talk. I really like it. But what I'm going to ask you to do is kind of break down the outline of his talk, okay? And I've got a template right here for you. All you have to do is go in here and fill in the blanks. But, offer some substantial filling in. It should be about a half of a page. That's not too much, but once it's all said and done. But look at how he organizes his introduction of his talk, the points that he makes, of information concerning the story of David Goliath, what kind of evidence he brings in, okay? And look at that and fill in those blanks. And that is going to help us learn and become more familiar with this type of outlining and this type of organization for our final essay. Then what we're going to do is practice the type of thesis. A lot of times we don't realize that even informational essays include a thesis. It's not an opinion-based thesis, it's an information-based thesis. But this returns to that textbook excerpt that we had read back in week 7. And so I'm going to ask you to look back on that and practice writing an informational surprise reversal thesis. I give you some explanation, I do one for you, and then I ask you to do 3 more. But I think that's it for the week. Yeah, it's just going back to the assignment overview. So please let me know if you have any questions this week. If you have any questions on this or still on the annotated bibliography, I am more than happy to help, okay? Have a great week. Bye-bye.